direction. Drop the clutch, pedal to the floor. Turn that giddy button to a lion's roar. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's slow this down, break the speed of sound. Tonight we own the road. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Red on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Red on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. I'm just calling to say I calling to say I
Heaven just knows what it was. Will I go back to the place where I belong? Everyone could break my heart, but I try my best to not fall apart. And I find it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. You'll be my pleasure. I got nothing to be scared of, because where people live, there is always love. I know the answers in my heart, so I'll try my best to not fall apart. And I find it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure? Find it hard to let go. Memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure?
Hand on the wheel, got my pistons pumping. All 800 horses. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what is a rise of a new championship here at Formula Racing League for the season 9 of the 100% league distance here on F123. This is actually going to be my debut ever, first ever F123 league race commentary. So be nice. I've been on comms pretty much all day today, so this is I can't really claim I'm rusty today. So we do see the session is going to be starting in the next 15 seconds. Welcome on in, everyone in chat. Quite a few people in chat. Yeah, obviously it's a new season, so I kind of expect something bigger, and then it'll probably fall off during the season. But we are here. Obviously, it's as usual, one-shot qualifying, then the 100% race, as we are close to going in for the one-shot qualifying here at Paul Ricard, a track that I thought was Mexico City for today. So I've been I had all of the wrong notes today, so I don't know where I got Mexico City from at all. But obviously it's a very close track to GT3, so it's still completely easy for me. Well, let's hope anyway. This is going to be something very interesting for me, because I feel like F1 broadcasters are very neglected to how much freedom they get on trying to actually control cameras, because it seems you only get about 6 or 7 keybinds as ACC broadcasters like myself get around just millions of softwares that you can use. But a few of you might not recognize my voice. I am the new commentator here for FRL F1 100%. I am previous year in FRL for doing the Pro-Am Championship on the Thursday nights, as we load into game time now here at a very, very sunny looking Paul Ricard, as we wait for all of the players to join in. Good to see everyone in chat. Anyone's predictions for this series? Obviously, it's still quite a long series, so anything can happen. 12 rounds to be exact, taking us all the way up until the end/mid of May, so a lot of potential. Obviously, there's dropout rounds because I don't think you can commit to all of the 12 rounds, because that does take up a bit of time. Obviously, it's a weekly occurrence, this, every Saturday at around 9 p.m. Obviously, we're starting a bit later due to some mix-up in drivers today. But apart from that, hopefully this doesn't happen too often when it comes to it. Obviously, you can't hear game sound just yet, same with me, so please don't start saying that in chat. It's the same sort of F1 pit stop regulations you would really get in real life. 2 compound tyres mandatory, so 1 pit stop mandatory, 56 laps. So you're probably going medium hards here, I assume, depending on what strategy you want to go. And you might even do it with more than 1 stop, depending on if you're trying to get a fastest lap. So you go straight in to this already. You can see on board with one of the, I believe it is the Alpine, no, this is the Williams Racing, as we do see the leaderboards going absolutely mental already. So I can actually get in game sound now. So we're on board with Nick F1 here in on the PS. Obviously something I'm not used to is cross-platform, because us on ACC are very, very good to see, as we've already seen a disqualification from a name that I can't pronounce going the wrong way on track. So that's 1 car completely out of this qualifying session. Obviously as well, this is a bit different to the GT3 layout. You have this chicane halfway through the long straight, just so it makes it a bit more interesting. I say it's still quite an easy chicane. I've been doing quite a bit of F1 recently. I think I've got close to 30 or 40 hours in the 2 weeks I've had the game, so it's just something I got quite addicted to quite quickly. Just waiting for everyone's time to come in. This, it does seem 2 people are already retired from the session, which isn't promising. Both Aston Martins out of the session on board. Going to change cars though. Going on to what is one of the BWT cars of Kryplax. Going through the final corner, going on to their first time lap here again. An alright exit. Getting the DRS on the straight now. And start bearing out as he does get. As we do see our first flying laps going, and I forgot this is one-shot qualifying. This is going to take some getting used to, as the orders are as follows: a 1:28 there by the leader, which is reasonably good time there, as we do see now on your screens. Crossfire stakes in the McLaren on the soft compounds with a 128.8, followed there by the Norway driver of Gandis in the Mercedes AMG Petronas with a 129.1, followed by Bran and Finn, both Brits, with 129.3s and 129.6 to round out the top four. So we do see going further down, it does seem the pace varies quite a bit here from the fastest time of 128 all the way down to a 132, so about a 3.3 second gap, so a 3.4 second gap rounding it up between them both. So there is quite a bit of a margin there, so that might lead to lapping halfway through this lap. Obviously 53 laps around Paul Ricard, about a minute, I'm going to say a minute 30 roughly per lap, so it's definitely possible with stuff like this. Obviously there is a pit window, I believe, for tonight's race as we go on to the race now, as we show you on what is this true potential of the calendar here tonight. As we do see, starting off today on the 24th of February, with Paul Ricard, also known as Castellis, followed there by round 2 on Australia of the Melbourne street circuit, as we know. Italy then on the 9th of March of Monza, followed there for round 4, but Portugal on the 16th of March, followed by Qatar on the 23rd of March, followed then by Zandvoort on the 30th of March, followed by Sao Paulo on the 6th of April, followed by Jeddah, the second street circuit of this calendar for round 8, taking us into the mid part of April, followed then by my home track of Silverstone on the 20th of April, followed by Hungary in Budapest on round 10 on the 27th of April, followed there by the final month of Austria on round 11 of the Red Bull Ring, and then round 12 of Spain, Barcelona. So definitely quite an interesting track. A load of countries we're going to, as you usually do see. Looking on in Finn into chat. I believe you're racing, if I saw your name correctly, or I'm just seeing stuff. Yeah, as I was saying, it's definitely quite a long season, taking us all the way to the midpoint of May. Sorry. So it's good to see quite a long calendar. It does obviously vary, obviously, with F1, which you don't usually see in ACC, is we've got reserve drivers as well, which is good to see. So it's usually a more filled up grid than you usually see in ACC grids, as I have seen from doing the Pro-Am series on the Thursday. I think we went from what was 40 or so cars to the last race, just hitting about 22 drivers, I say. So that just shows you the drop-off point of drivers going throughout the season there. But hopefully for the final round, to see who's crowned champion of that on Thursday, it should be a nice populated lobby. That is all I got to say with that. If we go back to the back screen, this still seems to be waiting for the setup to load. Obviously no formation lap as usual on F1, which I respect very highly, because I do not like the formation laps. I feel like it's just more waffling for me having to try and do, and I still have to try waffle through about an hour and a half of racing here, which isn't actually too bad. I thought it was going to be more like 2 hours and 30 to 3 hours of racing, but don't know what's happening here. I think I've either lost connection, but we have just gone green, as it seems I had a bit of an internet flaw there. So we do see Crossfire takes it in pole by quite a margin there of the gap. Going further down the grid now, we do see a ghosting effect already happening, which isn't good to see. Side by side there, it does seem the BWT trying to go side by side with the Ferraris. What the hell's going on here? Aston Martin on top of a BWT cars. We go swiftly past that there. That might be a bit of internet issues that we saw there. Going further back there, the Red Bull and the Aston Martin both trying to go side by side with each other. It does seem to be working in terms of his favour. Is it going to work? Obviously this chicane is in the benefit there of the Aston Martin, who's trying to make a lunge there on the Ferrari. Doesn't seem to work for him just yet. Looking all over the outside there, going to the end of the chicane. Now has the inside line going into turn 9 now. So it does seem the grid's starting to get a bit spicy, as we do see the Williams Racing of Nick F1 just trying to get part of a bit of gap there. Just trying to have a bit of breathing space. As we go further down into the grid now, we do start to see a few of the cars now just going through. As we do see there is a obviously two possible strategies here of lap 27 to 34 with mediums and soft or mediums to hards, depending on what you want to go with. It seems everyone's starting to settle in now for this. You see, it's quite a long race. We do see a bit of a lockup there from a car, which I believe was the Alpine in front of us. We do see the fastest lap has been set already, but that's going to be changed throughout, as we do see the DRS is on to not, well, the DRS isn't on yet, but the slipstream is so strong compared to GT3 cars. It does help a lot going into these cars. Obviously, very aero-related cars compared to what we see as GT3s. Has been a bit of a fight for position now. Going further down here, it does seem the BWT slash Alpine's trying to go with the Red Bull. Does seem Josh just gets ahead for now. Is there going to be any sort of retaliation? Now we do see the Ferrari trying to make a move with it as well. As we go further down, it does seem it's going to look for a move on the outside. Isn't going to work yet off, so have the Haas as well trying to look as well for this move. So if you just battle too much, you could lose way more positions than you actually want to. As we do see a virtual safety car has been deployed during this race. Now I'm not sure what that was for, but it does seem this is where we could possibly see pit strategies if they wanted to go to. It's very early into the race though, so I'm not sure if they will want to go for them just yet. Alexander Mike in a new game? Yes, this is actually my complete first time doing F123 commentary. Good to see you, Rick. Good to see how many people joined your stream today. That was amazing. Very congrats to you. So we go on board now with the leader. Obviously, still taking the lead of this race. He had quite a bit of a gap already. It was about a 1.9 second gap at the start of the race. Obviously, that's going to now decrease because of this virtual safety car that is appearing here. Not sure how many laps this will go on for, as it does seem we're going on to lap 3 still with the virtual safety car. So I assume it's going to be either 1 or 2 more laps here, depending on who it is. It does seem that Jackie, the other McLaren on the complete other side of the grid, down in P20 now, starting to pit. It does seem a few others as well starting to pit. It does seem the Alpine of Kryplex is also starting to pit, looking at the timing boards there. I got embedded by a Russian gambling site. 70% of my hey, free viewers is free viewers. You know what I mean? Yeah, that would be something that happens, but it does seem the virtual safety car has gone off now. It does seem there's a bit of a bug with that. As it seems, as we do see the other McLaren is already out of the pits there. It does seem though Crossfire Strike is starting to make quite a big gap for himself now, as we do see going further down into the grid. Quite a big battle starting to occur. Everyone's trying to get the slipstream of each other. We will possibly see the DRS being enabled this lap, as we do see Jackie has been given a penalty. Not sure for how long. It must be for speeding out of the pit lane, as he was in the pit at the time. Yeah, I wouldn't be complaining either. The amount of followers you would have gained from that is nuts. Yes, Martin looking all over the back of the Williams there. Bid's trying to get P4 from Nick F1 now. Going to work from 2 just yet, but obviously he is going to have a very, very strong slipstream going on to the start finish straight. So you do see a 3-second time penalty for multiple track warnings by Paul FC. That, yeah, only a 1 mandatory stop here for two sets of tyres. So you have to use at least 2 compounds here, just like regular F1. Timing, as we do see now, the S10 is starting to creep up, but we also see the Haas is also trying to get involved with this as well. So the Williams might potentially be battling a bit too hard, which is causing this train here. It does seem now the Haas is going to try to defend as hard as he can now, trying to catch up to the Ferrari to try get a tiny bit of slipstream. Obviously the slipstream is going to be very, very beneficial here, as we do see the DRS as well also coming into play here with the Aston Martin trying to go side by side here onto the chicane of Paul Ricard. Does seem the Haas gets completely eliminated from this, both getting the slipstream. It does seem the Aston Martin gets past both of them now and stays in, as we do see a caution there. Not sure what for, but we'll have to just continue going with it. It seems the caution has stopped now. Running max ad as well. Well, you get like £1.20 a second. Seem though the Red Bulls could try to go side by side with each other. Isn't going to work just yet. The Red Bull favour has quite a good line though, going through the outside line there through the penultimate corner now. It does seem the Haas is starting to lose time there from the Red Bull after just going through the final few corners. Sector 2 going into sector 3. Does seem the Mercedes as well of Gandis is also trying to get involved with this as well. So we're starting to see a few penalties being given to each other. Quickly just change something here, as I just realized what I do have wrong on the stream. There we go, and we are back. Apologize for that. Seems a lot of people are already getting warning shirt. Doesn't seem though. I reckon I know what it's for. It's obviously the inevitable track warning shirt. Definitely a track that you can easily get it around. You'll get it around most tracks on ACC as well. You do see quite a few people. I hate that auto pause feature as well. If anyone can tell me how I can get rid of that, that would be absolutely amazing. So I have to keep trying to adjust stuff on stream as well as trying to keep on with that. Something I'll hopefully try and do for next round. Does seem that the Haas is starting to lose time though to the Aston Martin. Does seem the Aston Martin does have the advantage of the toe as well though, which is something that he will have quite a good advantage with it. It does seem Finn though, currently in P2, having a time penalty of a 3 second, obviously for what we saw displayed earlier for track limits, which is not going to help him. Being in P2 obviously is not great to have a penalty ideally anywhere, but especially in P2 when he's on course to try win this race if he can. But it does seem that already a 3.3 second gap between P1 and P2. All cars are equal, yes, even though it doesn't look like it, but it is. 134.2 there by Josh Rhodes on the Red Bull, who it's currently on soft tyres, which is something you don't tend to see in these leagues, as I will show you now the tyre life of each of these people. As we do see one person on the soft tyres, I don't think that's a very good advantage because the soft tyres obviously go off quite quickly. I'm not sure, I think it's 12 laps or so they start to die off and you need to pit by then, but we'll have to keep out of that. Obviously people doing the same strategy of the mediums to hards or hards to mediums, so you can see there. But it does seem Jackie did pit for a new set of hards, it seems, during that virtual safety car, which did not doing well. Now 33 seconds behind P19. Does just seem that me and Ricky need to get on the mic again soon. That's something I want to do, try to. Hopefully soon Amigos will come back and we'll try to do all of that again, or SCM as well. Red Bull though, Josh Rose almost at risk of losing his final podium step here to bid 05 in the Aston Martin behind him. Quite close, but obviously now we do see the Red Bull has the advantage of Finn's slipstream from the Alfa Romeo. Well, I must say I've done a lot of CS. Yeah, I can see by your streams. I keep seeing your tweets and I try to repost as many of them as possible. But I do see a lot of them being CS instead of which is obviously your pro CS commentator. So, well, it's definitely something that would be C, as it does seem though. Another car being awarded a drive-through not a drive-through, a 3 second penalty. I'm so used to ACC. So this is going to take a lot of getting used to try and adapt to these two different kinds of commentary styles, because I was going to try to do R Factor 2 as well for BTCC at some point, which I disbanded with because I just don't like how R Factor 2 works with commentary. It was with another league, but it looked very good potential, but it's just all of the R Factor 2's like broadcasting support is all off for me, in my opinion. Does seem this Red Bull now starting to form a four-way train, it seems. It's not going to be good for the Red Bull now. Again, a lot of what's the word? I'm starting to lose my words already. A lot of pressure there from the Alfa Romeo, but the Alfa Romeo needs to be very careful though, because it does seem the pace difference between him and what seems to be the Haas as well, I believe, is quite similar to the Haas behind of the Aston Martin as well. So we did get a yellow flag there. We're not going to have another virtual safety car, I hope, because that was a bit odd, I'll be honest. But it does seem, though, the Red Bull of Josh Rose is trying to start to make a gap for himself. Obviously, the only one on soft tyres, so we will start to see a fall away with his performance over the next few laps now, which is probably why we're starting to see Finn and Bids in the Aston Martin and Alpha starting to pick up the pace a tiny bit between them both. Does seem that this might cause a bit of a scrap. Obviously, we haven't seen many incidents, mainly because I haven't been able to catch them on camera yet. Going further down, though, we do see, obviously, on board with the Red Bull, getting a tiny bit of pressure from behind of what seems to be the AlphaTauri of Brandt. Does seem he's going to have the slipstream as well, but also the Red Bull has the slipstream as well, but doesn't have the better slipstream for him. Obviously, Haas and Haas are trying to work together to try and get them both further up. Does seem the Red Bull gets out of that. Does seem it looks like he let him by a tiny bit there, but I'm not sure if it was. Obviously, they're on two different compounds as well, so different performance rates from both of them. So you go further down into grid as well. I'm not seeing many more battles here. It does seem, though, the AMG Petronas starting to make a bit of a battle here with what seems to be the Williams here, which you will never see in real life, I'll be honest. Which is a bit sad, but we'll have to see if 2024 has potential for all of these cars, because obviously F1 starts back up in a week tomorrow. So we'll have to see what has come offer on the table there. I've seen William Talbot, very nice name I must say, getting a bit of pressure there from Chocolate behind him, and we also do see Alejandro and Paul as well also trying to get involved with this, but it does seem William Talbot and Chocolate both don't have penalties. He's got to try force going side by side into turn one. He managed to get the move done. It's got to be any retaliation here from William Talbot. It doesn't seem so just yet. He's got to try fall in the slipstream going on to the big straight. We do also see, though, if he does this for too long, he's going to lose too much time here to the Aston Martin and the Ferrari as well between them both. It's just probably a best idea to try stay in the slipstream and try get DRS for this straight and try to retaliate back to get this position. It does seem now going on to the straight. He does get this DRS now. Is it going to help him a lot? He's going to try go for a move back out on retaliation here. Go into it. He gets the move done just before the chicane. So very, very good overspeed there by the Mercedes. It's the same as William Talbot unfortunately gets a 3-second penalty for track limits, as we did see him going a bit wide there. Now having, again, a big battle between these two. It does seem no Chocolate's going to try and go for another move. Once again, going into Sector 3. We do see his teammate as well in the distance of Nick F1. So they're trying to hopefully work together, get each other more points in the championship standings. But we do see now if they, again, I'm going to repeat what I say. If these two battle too much, they're going to start causing another train, which could lose them even more positions than they currently could lose. It's already 10 laps into this race now. I must say I'm quite enjoying F1 commentary. It does seem now the slips. He's going to have DRS as well, as I've just seen his wing open there of Chocolate. He's going to go side by side here going into turn one. Is he going to get the move done just before? It does seem he has the inside line there going into it. William Talbot losing the position down into what seems to be P30 now, the unlucky number for some, but could potentially lose more positions there to Mafarandro and Paul as well, who's starting to gain on them very slightly, but might have the slipstream going into this lap as well, which isn't going to help him too much. But we could see these two cars scrapping for a while, because he's still maintaining that 1 second gap to try get the slipstream. Now, is he going to get the slipstream? It's not going to help him too much going into the straight, as we do see he does get the slipstream, and we do see as well the Aston Martin also gets the slipstream as well, so he might be losing a position here. He's not gaining any time to the Williams ahead, but we do see the Aston Martin having the better slipstream going into that as well. So I must say, it is something that is going to be having to see a close eye on as we go further back as well, just to check out the rest of the grid, see if there's any more battles starting to happen. Doesn't seem there is. Going back on with Crossfire Streaks, our current leader by a good 4-ish seconds now. Trying to look if he can set a fastest lap time, as we don't see him being able to yet. Going across the line in Sector 3 on the medium tyres, so it's going to be quite difficult to keep up with what Josh Rose's time was. It does seem that FRR, man, gets a free second time penalty. It seems a lot of the grid are suffering from the time penalties here. If that's because of aggression, can't really tell yet, but it does seem the Alfa Romeo might be at risk here to losing P4. TC Alfa Romeo might try to get the slipstream here on Josh Rose for this straight here, as we see in the next few corners or so. Going into sector 2 now, seeing the white line as a representative. Does seem the Alfa Romeo does get the slipstream as well, so it's not going to help him out too much here, Aston Martin, but it does seem there's going to be a bit of blocking there from the Alfa Romeo for defense. Try to keep his position, as it seems to work so far, but still at the other end of the straight. Obviously no slipstream for that, as we do see him closer and closer than ever next to Josh Rose, but it does seem the retaliation is going to cause them to lock up even more between them both. It does seem we have got a caution in sector 2. Can't see what that is yet, but we do see the other Mercedes, this time not William Talbot, this time it's Gandis currently in P5, at risk of losing it to Tyrone King in the Haas. But we do see there is another this is an actual safety car here coming out on track, so we could see a few laps lost here, we could say, in battling. So this is where we're just going to start seeing the grid become closer and closer, which can lead to more battles here. Going back on board with the leader now, who does seem to be pitting here, as it seems Finn gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so it seems a lot. All of the top 6 are pitting yet. We might see everyone pit here for the first pit stop. 11 laps is quite good there for those tyres. It does seem, though, Crossfire Stakes is going to go out for the soft tyres, and it seems quite a few are as well, actually. Seems Finn has also gone out on the soft tyres, and Josh has gone out on the mediums. Is that a mistake from Josh, or is it not? Obviously, they're starting to do the mandatory pit stops have been completed, but obviously they're going to have to pit again 12 laps to try and do 41 laps on a soft tyre. Seems like a bit of a joke, if you ask me, so we'll have to see what happens with these. Comes back out in the lead. Seems safety car there. Does seem there's quite a big gap still between what seems to be P7 and 8 now. I must say that feature on F1 is the most annoying feature I've ever seen. Every time I click off, it takes me onto the menu, which I absolutely hate. If anyone knows how I can change that, please tell me and I'll fix it for next race. Obviously, this is more of an experimental race, more than anything, and hopefully next time round, the commentary should be a bit more professional from a broadcasting perspective of it. Obviously, we did miss the race start due to my whatever it was that actually happened. I'm not sure what actually did happen. We do see the grid is starting to formulate once again, as we might see green flag this lap potentially, or next lap. We'll have to see. I'm not sure what did cause the safety car to appear. I'm assuming it might have been a collision, but I'm not sure because it doesn't seem anyone has retired from the race just yet. Our current... What's happened here? It seems STRL OG seeming to cross the... What happened there? Just completely cut the chicane. I don't know if you saw that, but our current top leaderboard so far is Crossfire Strikes, currently in P1, followed closely behind by Josh Rose, as there was still about a 4-second gap between them both, so it wasn't too close, but still we could see Josh Rose starting to fire a bit in pace here, but we do see he could be at risk though. Finn now, who's currently in P3, also on a soft tyre, so there's got to be a performance outbreak from him as well, which could lose Josh Rose a position as well. Have to see. Followed there by the Aston Martin of Bids, who is also on the medium tyres, and it seems the rest of the grid, apart from P15 and 20, are all on either mediums or hard. And it does seem, though, it's Chocolate gets a 5-second penalty for severe contact with William Talbot there, so I don't know what happened there between them both, as I can't see any replay feature in this game, unfortunately. I will try my best to try and find out stuff about that, as we do see now P5, the Mercedes of Gandis, who is the best of the Mercedes so far, followed there by Tyrant King in the Haas. As we do see a diverse platform here, very PS dominant though, but we do see a few Xbox and Steam players here, which is good to see. But obviously it's a cross-platform game, which is something I feel like can be a luxury and a disadvantage at the same time, because on games like obviously F1 is very controller supportive, but games like ACC, for example, which is where I come from both broadcasting and a racing perspective, it can be more of a disadvantage than an advantage, because we do see there is a cross-platform boundary. PC players are on their own, which I feel like is a bit of a blessing, but we do see now, since this year, I believe it was, PS and Xbox players are allowed to cross-platform with each other, which is good for them. But I don't think it's worth them coming to the PS platform as well. Not the PS, sorry, the PC platform as well, just because it's not as good on controller and it's not very controller supportive as well. So we'll have to see what happens with that. I hope it doesn't, because a GT3 car on that game is very difficult to control on controller, and I feel like bringing every single one of the platforms together might be a bit of a curse in racecraft. But obviously games like F1 from Codemasters is just quite a blessing with it, because of how controller supportive they are, because we know not a lot of people do have wheels. I assume quite a few people in this league do have wheels. I'm lucky enough to have a full-on sim when I do race occasionally. Do you see though, there is a good 7 penalties here so far having to be served. You see it, lap 40 now. Still under safety car conditions. Possibly the last lap we'll see under safety car, or we could see another few laps before going green again. Could see this is going to be the last lap under safety car, I believe, as we do see everyone starting to get ready to go green here once again. Around the track that we all know and all might not love. Since we are back green now under racing conditions for the first rounds, as we do see Crossfire does already make quite a big gap for himself, but going further back, it does seem Josh Rose could be at a bit of a disadvantage here, being on the medium tyres, being surrounded by soft tyres at both P1 and P3, both on the soft tyres. Going further down though in the grid, not too many battles happening so far. It does seem it's going to be a solo column fight for position here. It does seem though, going further back in the grid there, we do see a bit of side-by-side action happening between the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari here, both Italian manufactured cars. It does seem though he's starting to drop off in pace than what he could have done earlier, but now he's just trying to straggle behind, not trying to lose too much time to the car behind him, and we'll have to see what happens between these two. It does seem though he is losing a lot of time to what we were seeing earlier, and he's actually lost so much time that he's now behind you have a Ferrari, and at risk of this position, obviously no DRS just yet because we're just after safety car conditions. It's going to go side by side here going into the chicane before sector 3 isn't going to work for him just yet. If he had the DRS, it would have been able to be done, but he is going to be all over the back of him here as he's going to try go for the inside line, forcing it going into what seems to be turn 9. Gets the move done just before it seems. He's going to try to pull back in to get the racing line, but we also do see as well Jackie trying to get involved with this, trying to take out last position, and now he is going to try be formulating part of this battle as well, which could lead to a bit of a train, but it does seem the Alfa Romeo is trying to retaliate and get his position back of what seemed to be P18 there. Going further back up into the grid, it does seem the McLaren starting to make a big gap for himself here, 1.1 seconds, so he is safe from any sort of DRS, even if there is no DRS yet, as we did just see the fastest lap set there by the McLaren of Crossfire Strikes, who is looking quite good for the championship here, looking quite strong into the first race so far. Obviously, we're not even halfway into this race just yet, so I'm not going to say anything just yet. Does seem to get a bit of oversteer there going into turn 4, but he's still got quite a big time difference between them both. Doesn't want to try overheat the tyres too much. Seem though, yeah, everyone's starting to isolate themselves a tiny bit. It's just a huge slipstream battle here as we just have to wait for when the DRS is back available, as we do see Tyrant King unfortunately in the Haas having a 3-second time penalty once again for multiple track limits. This is something that we have seen is a very, very big occurrence here, as we can see on the timing boards on the left hand side of your screen. About 6, 7 or 8 even possibly, yeah, 8 people having time penalties just because of it. So this is going to give people without the time penalties a huge advantage here going on to the final laps of the race when they have to try serve the next pit stop, because obviously there's a few on the soft compound, so they will possibly be doing another stop. Well, I would hope they would be anyway. Seems DRS is now enabled. This is where we're going to start seeing a lot of these battles starting to brew, as it doesn't seem it's any good just yet. We're going to have to wait. It does seem everyone here is under a second with each other, but it does seem Crossfire Strikes is very happy that he's now got a 1.4 second gap between him and P2 now. He is just going to have to wait a tiny bit though. So we do see this is a driver who we were waiting to see earlier. It is actually we haven't seen it today, I don't think. Specky Cabbage, what a name. Looking to try regain P8 here from Nick F1, who had quite a good start. He does get the DRS, but we also do see Don Fotherington as well in the Red Bull trying to get that DRS as well, trying to get closer in that slipstream going into the chicane now before Sector 3 isn't going to work for any of them just yet. Specky Cabbage unfortunately getting a 3-second time penalty again for multiple warnings. So we're seeing most of the grid now having this penalty, so it's going to affect pretty much everyone, and the people who aren't going to have that is going to get a very, very good advantage. Obviously some people having them stacked on top of each other, having more than one. It does seem a few people like P30 and Cryplax losing 6 positions since the start of this race, and Jay Hartnell losing 8 positions to the start of this race, and same with Moody losing 7 positions, unfortunately down in P20. So it just shows you how many you could lose, and how we could see Josh Rose going from what seemed to be P19 to P17 in one lap or so. Looks like gaining 17 positions, which is absolutely crazy to say. So it does seem Josh Rose, looks like we gave him a bit of commentator's curse there, unfortunately getting what seemed to be another 3-second penalty for himself. On board with him now, he's starting to gain closer though to what seems to be Crossfire Strikes there. Is he going to start trying to go with a move? He has gained about 4 tenths here in the past lap or so, as we go into the 18th lap, going on to the humongous straight again, and everyone, it's just a huge DRS stream here. No one's going to be getting the biggest of advantage here, apart from what we do see is the Aston Martin still trying to look for a move for the last podium step here for bronze. Finn at quite big risk here, not very close to what seems to be the Red Bull of Josh Rose ahead of him as well. Josh trying to get away though, which is successfully doing so far, Still in slipstream range though, so he could be at risk though. Same with what seems to be crossfire strikes, could also be part of this as well. I was just seeing though, these cars in front are starting to get a bit rowdy with each other. Going for an inside move here. He gets the move done quite efficiently, but it's going to be a lunge there from the Haas of Tyrant King. That's going to be another 3-second penalty probably for him for quite an excessive track limit there going into what seems to be turn 4 now. He is going to get closer, but it's not going to be close enough going into final few corners of sector 1 now. He is going to try get the slipstream going into sector 2. He is going to successfully get it, but if he can maintain a small enough gap, the DRS is going to be so large here for him as he goes into it. The slipstream, he does get it. You hear the beep. He is getting very close here in a very short amount of time. He's going to go and get the overspeed very quickly before the chicane. Breaking for chicane. There's no retaliation from him just yet, and he goes into the lead of this battle for now for P7 there for Nick F1, as it does seem now he's had a bit more trouble here. Seems to be another yellow flag. Is that going to be another safety car, do we reckon? I hope not. It does seem though the Haas is going to go. It's a sector 2 and 3 yellow flags. It does seem the Haas is going to try go for a little move on him. It does seem he gets it done quite quickly and efficiently there. Is there going to be any sort of retaliation though? Going further back though, we do see that Mercedes all over the back of that AlphaTauri now going into the final corner of this lap, going on to lap 21 for them now. He's going to have the DRS, but he doesn't get the good amount of... He just over revs the car there, losing so much time, but he's still going to have the slipstream, I believe. No, he's not going to have the slipstream going into the first corner. He does seem to get a bit of a lag spike there going into turn 2. He is losing a bit of time actually. It's fluctuating in the delta, but it seems he is a bit incompetent around this part of the track. It might just be a bit of an anomalous result here, but we'll have to see what happens between them both. Getting very wide there going into turn 5. It's not going to have the slipstream, I believe. Even though he actually is going to have the slipstream, it's not going to help him too much. But we'll have to see what happens with him going into the next few corners. It does seem though there has been a change for the lead since we have seen it. It does seem Crossfire Strikes is at very high risk here of not getting this position done. It does seem Josh Rose though getting a lot of pressure here by the McLaren of Crossfire. He's going to have the slipstream though going into the start finish straight, which can help him majorly if he can continue with this. But we do see Josh Rose starting to get a bit of a gap for himself, about 4 tenths here going into the penultimate corner now. In fact, he is going to probably get away with it. He does just get a bit of a short shift there. It's not going to help him too much, and he's not going to be able to get closer enough going into this. Josh Rose on fire, 18 positions so far. Caution sector 1 as we go further back in the grid. We do see there was a sector 1 yellow, but I'm not sure who that was for. And P10 now does seem these two are still not close enough to try think of going on the move with each other. P19 does look though like they could start being a bit unfriendly with each other. It seems there's a bit of ghosting here, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Playing quite a major part in this as well. He's not going to have the best slipstream going into this, but he also gets the slipstream as well. He just drives straight through him. Going into the chicane now. He's going to get it done. As we do see there is a Mercedes there just spun out there. I have a feeling that might be the Mercedes of William Talbot. As it is, he is losing a lot of time there in P19. Going further up in the grid now, we do see this fight is starting to lose. We do see Crossfire Strikes is starting to lose quite a bit of time here to Josh Rose. Still in slipstream time. It's not going to be enough though. He's going to have to try use the DRS to his advantage to try gain back as much time as he can. Go into the straights, and he has to try and maintain obviously that 1 second gap for the slipstream to actually take part in this, but it seems he is losing a lot of time here. 8/10 now between P1 and P2, but it does seem Bid is also quite far away as well. 1.8 seconds. These just shows you the pace advantage between these two. As we do see Bren though getting ever so closer to the Bids there, which is actually probably causing this gap to form between P2 and P3 here. Obviously it does seem the AlphaTauri is going to have the slipstream here going into the straight. It does seem he's going to try go defensive here. The slipstream and the DRS is going to help him out a lot. He gets past way before the end of the chicane here, gets through with flying colours, but now we do see obviously now the Aston Martin behind him as well, which has the slipstream and the DRS going on to the previous straight. As we do see another spin out most likely going into it. Ghosting usually indicates a network issue. Annoying when it happens like that though. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jeremy, need to now speak with you after the race. I found quite a bug, I think, with the game, so I'll speak with you on it afterwards. But hopefully I can probably solve it before next race, but that's why I probably missed the start of the race, which is a bit annoying, but we'll just have to go on with it. Does seem though he's getting very close here with the slipstream onto the McLaren, it seems. There for P2. Josh Rose starting to gap himself now. 1.7 seconds between them both, just in that lap or so. A 1 second gap between them both. It does seem a bit of sweeping there to try break the slipstream to the guy behind him as well. It does seem the McLaren is gonna, he is losing a lot of time and confidence there going through those corners. We do see William Talbot, the Mercedes, getting a 5 second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. As we do see now the AlphaTauri is going to have the DRS and the slipstream there, go onto the McLaren and gets to move so much earlier done there before going into the chicane. Is there going to be any sort of retaliation here by the McLaren, as it does seem the McLaren is losing a lot of time here. It's getting fought here for what is now P4 as well. He is losing quite a few positions here, which is not good here for Crossfire. Obviously he was leading this race for a good chunk of it now, as we have seen a lead change from Josh Rose. If this is any sort of commentator's curse, I hope not. I don't like to be that kind of person. Three-second penalty there for Paul FC. Unfortunately for a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. As it does seem though a bit of a loose car there from the Aston Martin going onto the straight. It does seem he lifts though. As we've got another safety car. Yeah, that is why he's lifting there. He gets the message a lot more before me there. It does seem going into what seems to be further into the grid there. A few people pitting. As I'm just trying to find where the safety car could potentially be, and it must be Sturl OG, unfortunately having to retire from the race, who was currently in P12, now having to go down into P last, you could say. 3-second time penalty for the boss man himself. Does seem though for a safety car having to try catch up with this can be a bit annoying, and we do have to just wait and see how long the safety car is actually going to be. So now a few of the cars are going back into the pits. The pit once again taking this advantage to pit for when they can. That's a lovely camera angle there, I'll be honest. Seeing a few of the cars now are pitting for another set of tyres. You can see what they're paying for. It's very cheap on who is actually pitting. A few of them are going onto the hards and mediums. Not seeing too many people on the softs, but it seems Josh Rose back on the softs once again, followed there by his teammate. Is it going to be a Red Bull 1-2 already? Is this going to be a sign of what the 2024 season is going to be like here? As this possibly could be our final lap or so. In fact, it might be 2 more laps under safety car conditions. Further in the grid, we'll have a bit of a grid update here. It does seem Josh Rose is still leading this lap and has a new fresh pair of softs, which is going to help him out a lot, followed by his teammate of Don Fotherington, who got quite a good start there. He was at the mid-grid, now in P2. That seems like pit stop definitely helped him out quite a bit there, followed there by Bran in the AlphaTauri, taking up the top 3 there, followed there by Crossfire. He didn't have the best few laps of the 20s. He could have obviously leading quite a good segment of this race, but now down into P4, seems he could be at risk of losing more positions at the moment. P5 bids in the Aston Martin has quite a strong pace at the moment, trying to look to take P4 from Crossfire, followed by Gandis. We haven't seen too much in this race. Obviously his teammate unfortunately currently down in last, William Talbot, who was fighting and then unfortunately had the spin. Just give me the strategist of the year already. Oh, crap. Oh. I mean, you're not doing too bad, I'll be honest. You could be doing worse. You could be retired from the race already. But obviously we could be seeing the final lap of safety car, I hope. Oh my days, we're still in the safety car. Okay, this is one thing I don't like about the F1 game. It's the safety cards. We don't get this in ACC of where I'm from. Because obviously for a few people who have joined chat, this is my debut F1 broadcasting and commentary. So it's more of a learning curve today, and then hopefully next race will be on tip-top conditions when I've actually sorted everything out. And hopefully it will be all good to go for the rest of the season. But yeah, the safety cars, we usually don't get them, but if we do, they're manually controlled by someone who's in just like a GT4 or an M2. Just saying they're a safety car when they're not really. I was the only one to put softs on for the first safety car and it worked perfectly. Yeah, which I think Josh Rose did as well, and it's definitely helped him out a lot, which Crossfire seems to be struggling with as well. But yeah, you're definitely doing quite well at the moment. I reckon I'm not going to give you any sort of I'm not going to give you a goal to go, because I feel like I might give you commentator's curse, and I don't want that to happen. Starting to see now, it could be the penultimate lap we do see on safety car conditions, but I did say that last lap, so I don't really know. It seems we're doing like 10 lap segments and then we're getting the safety car again, but this is good though, because we're getting closer and closer together in the pack again, which could lead us to have some very good battling once again. But we do see though, going further and further into the grids, at the complete midpoint of this grid it would have been probably who had some good paces. We are going to go on board without the car. He was on chat earlier. Cryplax obviously saying he's a strategist of the year, so hopefully he can continue with that. Currently on the hards tyre, just only about 2 laps of life there, which is that's going to be the call for the next set of tyres. As we do see, there aren't too many people on the hard tyres, and when they're on it, they're only on it for about 5 or 6 laps before pitting again into safety car conditions. If he can nail this with no safety car here, as we do see to be going green hopefully this lap. Pit window is open here for softs for 27 to 34 lap range. Does seem no Shrill OG again out of this race a few laps ago, which has caused the safety car to be present. Obviously this is just going to be more pressure here for Josh Rose to try create a bit of a gap to him and his teammate, because he doesn't want to take out his teammate as well. That's definitely something you don't want to happen at all, but he has definitely the better advantage between him and Josh Fotherington. The only reason I feel Josh is so Don is so high at the moment is because he hasn't pitted, and we can see all the way from P3 all the way to about the lines of P9 they've all pitted compared to him, which has caused him to go so far up in the grid. But you don't really need to pit on the medium tyres at 15 laps, so if that is a sustainable option, we'll have to see for this race here for him. Obviously he wants to try get as many points as he can for the championship here. Do you see race control saying safety car is in this lap, as we do see Josh Rose does have that penalty as well. Same with his teammate of Don, so he has to try get a 3-second gap by the end of the race, which is going to be deemed quite tricky with the amount of safety cars we are having, as we do see the safety car is speeding up here, as we are starting to see the formation here of all of the cars getting ready to go green again, as we do see a 5-second penalty here for Nick F1, unfortunately, for a severe contact with another driver, which I in fact think this caused this huge safety car dilemma, as we are about to go green, going into the final few corners. Seems we are through the final few corners and we are green once again here. Josh Rose taking back the lead, still a 1.3 second gap already between them both P1 and P2, but we see going into P2 he could be at risk here from losing his position to the AlphaTauri. Only having the slipstream though, no DRS just yet available due to slipstream that did happen, and does seem he's going to let a car by. It might have been an illegal overtake, which has seen Crossfire all the way back up into P2 here, getting a double overtake it seems, and going back in to P2. The redemption of Crossfire we could see for him does seem Cryplex unfortunately getting a 3-second time penalty here. Going further down in the grid though, we do start seeing a few of these cars going for it once again. The Aston Martin of Bids trying to get some sort of move done on Brand in the AlphaTauri, but it does seem he could be at risk here from P5 of Gandis going into the first major part of the chicane. Does seem though he is also battling with the AlphaTauri, so this could be quite a major battle that does happen going into this race now. Obviously having the slipstream is going to be very strong here for Gandis, and the Mercedes going to go for the outside line going into turn 9. Going to work here. He's going to trap him inside there with the AlphaTauri, which is a very smart move but also very risky. He tries to go with it, going for the outside line, still has a lot of available space here, trying to use the AlphaTauri as well to the Aston Martin's disadvantage. Doesn't seem to work just yet for the Mercedes' favour, and it's going to stay in the same orders as we have currently seen in the past. It does seem though he is going to try once again just using the slipstream to its advantage. Obviously again we don't have DRS this lap either, as reduce your caution in sector 3. Hopefully that doesn't cause another safety car, as Josh Rose has been given a 132.6 logged by Crossfire there for over 132 deads there. So we're starting to see the redemption of Crossfire again. So do we see him starting to take the lead there from Josh Rose again? Obviously being able to do the fastest lap on medium tyres compared to Josh, who was doing the fastest lap on softs, does mean there's quite a good pace difference there between them both. Does seem though the Mercedes getting close to Tyrant King, unfortunately getting another 3-second time penalty for multiple warning shares. We go into the final half of this race now. Does seem though a very good exit there from the Mercedes. Is it going to work though going into it? He is going to try go for it, but obviously But Aston Martin also has that slipstream as he is going to just break off a tiny bit. Yes, Aston Martin having now a stronger slipstream from the Alpha Tauri in front of him as well. It's time to lose time here, unfortunately, for him going on to what seems to be the actual fight for position. These two. Getting quite close here between them both. It's not going to be close enough just yet. Obviously, we will start seeing the slipstream enabled this lap. So that is going to definitely help a load of drivers try to get these positions that he wants done as quickly as he can. Obviously, it's not going to have slipstream on this straight just yet. So we do see a big lockup there from, I'm assuming that was the Williams driver going into turn 1. But now he just needs to try and maintain quite a small gap of, well, he wants to try and maintain about a 2/10 gap to get the strongest of slipstreams. But we also do see, obviously, Gandis as well in the Mercedes also trying to get involved in this action as well. But it does seem there's going to be a very, very loose action there from the Aston Martin. It's going to lose him a lot of time there compared to the Alpha Tauri. It's still going to be in slipstream length though. He is, and we also do see the Mercedes as well in the slipstream length. All of these cars being in slipstream length from each other, apart from what is the Alpha Tauri. So he's in very big danger here of losing a lot of positions. So we do see though P9 and 10 starting to battle with each other again. So you know, Don Fotherington down all the way now in P13 as these two drivers go side by side here going into turn 9. Does seem though the inside line is going to help him a lot, so there's going to be a switchback between them both, not just yet. It's going to go all over the tail of this driver as he's going to stay on board with him now. Has started to get away a bit going into the final few corners now of sector 2 going on to sector 3. Getting the DRS now as you hear that beat. It's going to get quite close to this car ahead of him going into turn 1. It's not going to be close enough to try and go for a move just yet. He's going to gain a lot of time now on him all over the back of that Haas now going into the first few corners of sector 1 now. Going into turn 3 and turn 4. Very weird corners to try and get right, but very fine in the F1 cars compared to the GT3 cars. So there is another yellow flag there in sector 3 as it does seem these two cars are getting close and close to each other. So you know, he's going to have the slipstream there. So William Talbot unfortunately getting another 3-second time penalty on each other, and we're going on for another safety car. Oh my days. It seems Chocolate is out of this race now. It seems getting some severe damage. How would you get severe damage on this track? I don't get it. You're so far away. You're social distanced from any wall to existence, basically. Unless you go side by side with another car. That's another issue, but... I don't like safety cars, but luckily this one's a virtual one, so hopefully it's a little bit shorter here. Going on to the final 22 laps of this race now, nearly just half point. Does seem though we're already out of the virtual safety car period, which is good to say. This is why I like virtual safety cars more than real safety cars. Obviously we won't have DRS for a few laps once again, so it does seem it's getting quite close between them both. Few people in pits which haven't made the right call there. They would have thought that virtual safety car would have lasted longer. Does seem though Jackie got to lose a few positions. Same with Josh Rhodes, which has led Crossfire back in the lead of this race. That's going to help him out quite a bit here. Which you see now Brian quite close. Well, I don't know why I said Brian. It's definitely Bran. I apologise. Getting quite close now to the Aston Martin or Bids currently in P2. But it's not going to be close enough. But we also do see though as well. The other cars behind him as well, which seems to be Gandis in the Mercedes. A car we have seen quite a bit, not having much of a break here. It does seem the DRS is going to be deployed here, getting this chicane right. It does seem the AlphaTauri tries to defend his position. He does it successfully. As we go further back there, we do see a side-by-side here. The Alfa Romeo, I think that is, against the Mercedes. It's going to go side-by-side here into turn 9. Does seem it's going to be in the favour of the Alfa Romeo. I'll keep getting those mixed up. I apologise. They're going to try to go 3 wide as that. Go into sector 3. It's not going to work as it does seem Candice losing a lot of position here. Trying to go in to the final few corners now. It does seem he's going to get a bit of contact there with the Williams. That's going to cause the Williams to go further back between them both. As it does seem though. Going to go side by side once again with the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, and they are going to just rub wheels a tiny bit. And that was very close to hitting the back of the Alpha Tauri there, and it does seem they're going to try to go side by side. The overspeed is not going to be in the Mercedes' favour, and they all fall into position here. But it does seem Finn gets a bit of an advantage here, gaining a position. So you see him locking up a tiny bit, trying to defend there from the Mercedes behind him. See, this is starting to settle down a tiny bit, which is good to see. However, we do see P12 starting to get closer between them both. They're starting to lose a bit of time though, but obviously we'll have to see. Going on to the straight, we'll have DRS for them, as it seems absolutely everyone has penalties here, which I find quite hilarious. Going to have the slipstream here going into the straight. Have to see. It does seem he's going to have the slipstream and the DRS. Is it going to help him enough though? Going into this, it does seem he's going to gain a lot of time, but it's not going to be enough going into the chicane. But has gained so much time that he can try and send the slipstream and try gain time by his own pace instead of the advantages he can get. But we do see a caution in sector 1 now. Not sure who that is. Gonna look further down in the grids. See who it could possibly be. Can't see who it is. All very close with each other now. Going further up in the grid though, we do see there's a bit of side by side that could happen here. It does seem the Mercedes could be at risk again from Finn retaliating to try and get this position back. Again, this obviously just getting that position back as we just saw earlier. And now Finn wants to try and get the position back that wasn't originally his, as the Mercedes did gain his position back in the first place. And now going into the straight, it does seem they're going to be very close with each other. This could be a very, very bad disadvantage here for the Mercedes, but the Mercedes seems to get away quite a bit. But the Alfa Romeo does get the slipstream and the DRS compared to what the Mercedes gets. Both of them, as well as we do see there is a bit of rowdiness going on between them both, as well as they're going to be side by side here going into the chicane. It's going to go very wide there, which leads for the Alfa Romeo to get a part of this as well. He goes into the wall there. Wow, that was unexpected there. Gandis just getting a bit of oversteer moment there, and it does seem he goes into the wall. Not much damage for him, no. Luckily, just managing to keep it out of the wing section and not losing his wing. Otherwise, that could have been a very, very bad day for him. Going back into this though, we do see these two cars are once again getting very rowdy with each other. This is obviously for the silver position. "19 laps left of this race." Not going to have this good enough slipstream to try go with it. Does seem the DRS is going to help him out a lot here, as he's going to try go side by side going into turn 1. No, he just holds off there. Does the responsible thing, doesn't want to try force her obviously very far up in the leaderboard here, going for some very, very high amounts of points here, which can help him out in the championship. See him now, he's going to try go for it now going into the chicane. There's going to be a bit of a defense there from the Aston Martin. Isn't going to work at all. The overspeed of the AlphaTauri with the DRS and the slipstream was just so good. He's now actually created quite a bit of a gap for himself, between them both, about 4/10. Obviously, it's still got to have a good enough slipstream for it, but there is quite a reasonable gap between them both now. It's just seems they're starting to settle down a tiny bit now. Hopefully this isn't going to be another cause of another safety car. Usually it does do quite a good job of just reformulating the pack a tiny bit. But it is quite a bit of a consuming task. But we do see this Alpine is getting all over the back here of William Talbot in the Mercedes. Now loses a bit of time there on the exit of the final corner now, but does get the slipstream it seems. And the DRS going into it. Is he going to try to go for the move? No, he does not. He just sticks it behind and just waits for it. Brandon, unfortunately, getting a 3-second time penalty. Oh my god, that leaderboard, man. That's not going to help him out at all. Yeah, he has to try lose the pack by 3 seconds to try keep P2 here. Tyrant can gain another 3-second time penalty. Currently, he does just get a very good slipstream there and over speed. Just being able to get it with the DRS going into that chicane. Very easy overtaking opportunity you can do through there. And goes up another position. Seems so. 32 dead is still the fastest lap time we've seen of this race by Crossfire Strikes. Trying to maintain a bit of a gap for himself now. I'd be lying if I'd say my voice isn't starting to go now. This is probably the latest commentary I've done in terms of actual commentary. I would say it is the latest I've ever done, but it's actually not. I had a 24-hour race which I broadcasted 17 hours of it, and I went from, I think it was the start of the race, which I believe was 11 AM, and I went all the way to 7 AM, I believe, or something like that. So it's still quite a big gap, as we do see very, very close between these two now. The Alpine and the Mercedes getting very close. There's going to be contact between both of them, just going into the wall, and that's going to be a safety car there, as we do see what seems to be William Talbot out of this race now, getting a bit of, that is not going to be good there. Oh, that is unfortunate there from William Talbot, unfortunately out of this race, and we're going to see another safety car deployed during this race, as we do see Sim Racing Academy saying Crossfire. Yes, I do recognise you guys, I'll be honest. I'm not sure how I recognise you guys, but welcome on in. Washed. Yep, welcome to the F1 community, guys. All fun and games. Comes into the pit. Is he going to go for soft again? He is going to go for the soft to try maintain a gap between P1 and P2. Obviously, Crossfire trying to get as many points for the championship he can before we see the end of this race. Still quite a chunk of this race left to go. Does seem Josh Rose does take the gap of this field once again. P1 Simgreed. Oh yeah, that's exactly why. It's almost like I've actually done one of your races before, and I actually think I'm in your Discord. In fact, I think I am. Just have to check, but now, I don't know how long the safety car is going to last, but this is actually going on now our 4th or 5th safety car of this race. I've started losing count now, including the virtual safety cars. As we do see for Paul FC getting 12 seconds worth of penalties there, mostly because of track limits, I believe, and they could possibly be with speeding in pit lane penalties as well, and contact penalties. But going through the grid now, P1 with 6-second penalty, followed there by Spiky Cabbage in the Alpine with 6-second penalty, followed there by P4 of Bran with a 3-second penalty, followed there by 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th all having 3-second penalties as well, followed then by 10th having a 3-second penalty. Then with Tyrant King with a Haas with 9-second penalty, followed by Cryplex with 6-second penalty, followed then by Don Fotherington, who was in P2 at the start-ish of this race with 9-second penalty, and then Jackie Gabana with 3-second penalty as well, rounding out the top 15 in penalties, and then 16 having 6-second penalty, and then obviously Paul FC having that 12-second penalty as we mentioned earlier. Still a lot to play for during this race. We could see a few drivers starting to try go for well, let's just say more of the undercut strat, as we could see, as we do see it doesn't seem Josh Rose is going to go into the pits just yet. Probably the best way to go in the pits is during the safety car, because we did see quite a few of them going in the pits during the virtual safety car that lasted about 3 or 4 corners. Does seem though we could see the safety car coming in the next 2 or so laps, as we will go on to lap 40 after this lap, which leads us to just 13 laps left of the race, or as you could say, a medium length race. If anyone is still in chat, what's your predictions for the top 3 now? Because it's been quite a fluctuated grid, but we do see Crossfire starting to strike back again, as you could say. Josh Rose again also having quite good potential and pace. Obviously them two not pitting, as we did see Crossfire paying for a new set of soft to try get the advantage on Josh. Then we also did see Bran also in P2 earlier, who also pitted for soft. Bidge as well having quite good potential on pace as well. Same with Finn. Grant did have good pace, but unfortunately fell off a tiny bit towards the end of his stint just then. Bids win Raging Room. A few bids then. Coming on to 10:30 here in the UK. So we could cross over during 2 and 11 o'clock here. That's when I'll have the sub in a bit more quiet. Let's just hope my soundproofing does a tiny bit more. Got some makeshift soundproofing I did to try dampen out the sound, because I've got some weak spots in this room I've detected over time, and I've started taking a bit of time to try find where the sound leak is happening through my room, and it's through a piece of drywood slash plaster, which is starting to echo it and reverb it through the hallway. So I'm going to try get some soundproofing going through that, and that's just something that hopefully goes with my new setup as well, because I'm completely changing my PC. Hopefully going to try get into the 40 series with graphics cards, new CPU as well, new bunch of monitors, and just see how it goes with that. I've been saving up a few times. Obviously commentary is definitely helping with that as well. Does just now see, we could see this might be the penultimate lap. I did say this last time, but this is the one thing about F1 is we don't know when the safety car goes in until race control says safety car goes in this lap, which will be at around sector 3 if we do see it. 13 laps left of this race now. And I will actually get some actual F1 comment on this, as obviously this is an F1 race, surprise surprise. But obviously we are starting to see the new F1 season upon us next week, which is very exciting for the 2024 season. Obviously there's been some quite major changes to a few of the cars, liveries and team names that I'm not going to go into because they are short stories more than anything. But it's definitely something that is quite good to see. But I want to see what are your top 3 predictions for the Constructors' Championship and the Drivers' Championship? Say in chat what you think they will be. I'm going to just go straight with it. I'm going to say it's going to be Red Bull. I want to say then... anything I say here could be a bit wrong. But I'm hoping we could see the uprise again of McLaren, hopefully, as we do see safety car is coming in the slappers. I've got a lot of McLaren merch, as I'm a McLaren fan. And I might hopefully see as well Ferrari making a comeback. But I said this last time, and then Charles Leclerc nearly... just died in embarrassment with the car he was in. Started out very strong, but then just lost it all with everything going on here on board with the leader for the start of this next segment of this race. 13 laps left to go. Will be 12 after we crossed the line in the next few corners. When are we going to see the leader go? We see him starting to accelerate now, as we are now green once again at Paul Ricard for round 1, as we go into the penultimate corners now. Does seem it's starting to make already quite a big gap here, as we do see going into P2. Does seem Crossfire's going to try get past him as quickly as he can. He wants to try gain time to Josh Rose here, as he is going to go here for the outside line going into turn 1. Is he going to get the overspeed before the end of the straight? Yes, he does. He gets the move done. Now has to focus here and trying to get some time here on Josh Rose. McLaren versus Red Bull. Haven't seen this very much in the past, but we also do see though Brandt is going to be quite a big threat during this sort of focusment from Crossfire to try and get closer. It's still quite a small gap between them both, but it's starting to increase tiny bit going into the final few. As we do see side by side here, the Aston Martin does get past us. We also see the Alfa Romeo trying to go for it as well. Going to be a bit of rubbing doors. They're trying to make a bit of space for himself there, as it seems he is going to get it done. It seems. Does seem though, obviously there's no slipstream, not slipstream, DRS just yet. In the next 3 laps or so we'll see it, but hopefully we won't see any more, as we do see Tyrant King once again getting a 3-second penalty going into sector 3 now. He's definitely got the collection for the most amount of 3-second time penalties. Does seem the hards might have not been the option to go for the end of this race. We will start seeing the soft to medium start to dominate compared to the hards. Only one person on the hard, that isn't going to be the strategy. It's going to be a bit of a difficult time for him to try go through. Going through the grid now, it doesn't seem anyone is going for a bell here apart from this guy. He does just go wow, I don't really know what to say about that. Just a bit of contact between the Crossfire, goes for a 130.5 there. It does seem now he's going to have the slipstream. Is it going to be enough going into the first corner? He tries to go defensive, but he goes back onto the racing line knowing he won't get past, as he just hits the back of him, losing all of his speed, which has let there what seems to be the Alpine past him as well. He's not going to be very happy with that. Going into P11 now, Cryplex up into P10 in what we would say points positioned in F1. Is he going to try and retaliate? Obviously, could have quite a good slipstream going on to this straight, but obviously the Alpine also has a good slipstream. He gets a very good exit there, but it's not going to be good enough. The two Alpines are going to try and work together, I hope. Seems they're actually going to go side by side here, which leads the Haas to get past both of them. It seems a double overtake possibly here from Tyrant King. It's not going to work yet. That could have been a very awesome overtake opportunity to try overtake both of them in one corner, but we just see him sticking behind for the time being. Got to go into the inside line, forces it going into turn 9 now. He is going to get it done very swiftly, but the downforce is still on what seems to be Cryplex's sides, and now we do see what seems Tyrant King up into P9 now. Provisionally still about 11 laps left to go with this race now. Going further up in the grid to see if there's any other sort of stuff going on. It does seem once again Cryplex is still the closest battle on the grid, but we will start seeing Cryplex fall off between them both, unless the DRS, as we do see that has just been enabled, is going to play quite a major role in this as well. Come back in position, we do see there's going to be another side by side here. It seems the Aston Martin just gets past him there and just going to stay in front now. Is there going to be any sort of retaliation here from the Alpine at the moment? Not just yet. There's actually side by side happening in front of us going into turn 3, that is, as Donald Fotherington getting another 3-second time penalty now, as it does seem there's actually a bit more of an issue between these two, and there's going to be a slipstream here, obviously, for Tyrant King to try get back his P9 position, as he's going to get the slipstream, and he's going to have this awesome run off on him, and he is going to do that just as well as he can. Go into this corner now, he is just going to get it, as we do see a side-by-side happening further down the grid as well. Here we do see the Red Bull just getting past him, Don just getting the move done, sticking it. Just everyone's starting to try sell down again, apart from these two. Once again, seems Cryplex trying to get this move done once again to try regain P9 here for round 1. So do you see a very, very loose pass there? That wouldn't mean saved on controller at all. It's going to be another oversteer moment that's going to cause the hazard speed to be majorly reduced here, and it's going to lead to what Cryplex is going to be all over the inside of him, but he does just break a bit later going into the penultimate corner now. But we do see now Cryplex is going to have a very, very good run with both Slipstream and the DRS here. Going to try and get this move done as quickly as he can, and get such a big gap between them both now, as we also do see the other Aston Martin trying to go for it as well. Does seem he's going to try and retaliate once again. Cryplex just all over the back of him now, trying to go with it once again. We'll have the slipstream going on to the straight, as we know. It's a good run off into the final corner before the straight. He's going to have the slipstream as well. Going to go side by side before the chicane. Now just gets the move done, and we do hear the slipstream both having. Actually, no, it does seem the BWT of the Alpine gets the slipstream instead of Tyrant King, which plays a massive plot twist in the works here. Now, a bit of oversteer there. It does seem Tyrant King is definitely suffering with a lot of oversteer, and just going to stay in P9 for the time being. But it does seem, though, we do see Cryplex all over the back. Still, these guys are cemented together here, as we do see there is either that's a dodgy connection there by Tyrant King, or if that's just actually oversteer that's happening. We don't know just yet. It's getting close, very, very close between them both now. I think that is actually oversteer there, or is it? I can't really tell, because he is losing time, but it's not losing too much time. He's starting to form quite a big train here. I think it's about 5 or 6 car trains. We do see going further down, there is a side-by-side here. It does seem the Aston Martin just gets by, so that's going to be a tiny bit of a lift off there from Don Fotherington. Just not trying to get involved with any of this, trying to keep the position he currently in. And so we have seen 3 retirements of this race. William Talbot, as we did see live on stream, going into the wall of the chicane, followed by Chocolate in the Williams, and then Stirl OG in the Ferrari, retiring very, very early into the race. Tyrant King getting another 3-second penalty. There might be records now of how many penalties he will get during a race. Just have to find out. But going further up the grid now, we do see these two cars are starting to have a scrap of each other again. Getting very close with each other now, but it's not going to be close enough to try go for any sort of move. It seems that there's going to be actually an overtake here for the lead. These two are battling. So I didn't get to see, as it seems Brand's going to try to take the lead here. Seems Sim Racing Academy's opinion on Brand did not go with him well, and he's not taking the lead of the race from Crossfire Strikes here. Is there going to be any sort of retaliation here from Crossfire? He's going to have the DRS though, as we know, going into start-finish straight. Is that going to help him out a lot? Obviously, it's still quite a short gap between them both, but can he try and maintain first position here, Brand, for the Alpha Tauri? It does seem he's getting a lot of time here, Crossfire. Is it going to be enough though? No, it's not. He's going to just sit behind him and wait going into turn 1, 2 and 3. Quite a big gap between them both now. 5 tenths between them both. It's going to help him though if he can try increase this gap for Brandt, and it's just going to hope he doesn't get this easy overtaking opportunity going into the chicane, and hopefully he can pull some sort of a fight between them both. Because if he fights too much, we also see Bids behind him as well, getting the slipstream and the DRS as well. So we could see a three-way battle. Tyrant can gain another 3-second time penalty. He's surely close to a minute now, but it's not going to help him just yet. Bram, as we just saw, he both got the slipstream and the DRS, but it's not going to help him going into that easy overtaking opportunity, and it does seem now Brand is starting to put their head down and try just increase the pace and try to increase the gap between him and P2 now, but it does seem going into the sector 3 now. He is gaining a lot of time there. Obviously it's very close. We're going to see some dirty air as well play in this as well, as I wasn't mentioning earlier. Dirty air can definitely be quite a big compound in this as well. Seven laps to go. Still the closest battle on track. He's going to have the DRS and slipstream going into the first corner. It's not going to help him though. Brown is starting to get away here. He's just not any pressure on him so far. It doesn't seem he does quite well under pressure so far compared to what other drivers we could have seen in the past, as we do see caution in sector 3 there. Bids getting a 3-second time penalty just behind, as you can see in the mirror there, of the Aston Martin, getting a bit of pressure there from Finn as well. So there could be two battles to start to occur here. He's going to have the slipstream and the DRS once again going into the straight. Is it going to help him this time? Not yet. Now I'm starting to actually believe what SRA has actually said about charging his ERS. As you can see on this dash there, he's just got less than a quarter left in his ERS panel, but we do start to see where the drivers start to use the most amount of ERS they will here and try to drain their batteries probably in the next few laps or so before the end of the race, obviously, because all of that ERS, you want it to be used before the end of the race. It's just free power at the end of the day. It does seem, compared to P1 and P2, they have quite different amounts of ERS left. It does seem Brand still has about half of his ERS left compared to what Cross has of about a quarter or so left. So these two are going to start battling it out, possibly going into the final few laps. But however, these two cars are very close here, and we do see the Aston Martin a bit of very, very low ERS. Can I turn telemetry on? That's if I remember what the button is. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can see there he's just got around 9% ERS here going into the straight, which isn't helping him as he gets, whoa, that was a big leg spoke there from him, all behind now that McLaren of Crossfire here. Cross now having about 43% left of his ERS, so I don't think he needs to be really harvesting as much as he probably is now compared to Barn, who has about 48, so there is a bit of an advantage there in Brand's favour. It's not much, but it does seem Bids is going to start falling off in the pace because of this ERS, which I completely forgot to think about at the start of this race, but he's all over the back here of Crossfire, which isn't going to help Crossfire to try keep this gap between Brand and him, and it's going to probably start pressuring him to use a bit more of his ERS that they can. He's using his overtake again, as we did see there. Cross losing time because of Bids now starting to try to attack with him now. I see him. P6 is starting to go with it. P6 very, very close here. 16% ERS as well, so he's not got the most amount of ERS he possibly could have. Now getting the slipstream and the DRS as well. He's going to fly past him before the chicane, maintaining quite a big gap between them both now as we go and see. And he does just get by and just stays in the position for time being. Is there going to be any sort of retaliation between them both? They're in kind of no man's land, so they can battle between them both as well, but it does seem gaps are quite big between them both now. 4 laps left of this race now. Back on board with the leader now, Bran, who's still got about 54% of his ERS left. Could be closer to trying getting more fastest laps of the race, but still 2 seconds off the fastest lap, which was set by Crossfire there, as we do see Crossfire again under a lot of pressure from Bids again. This is what we usually do see, is he starts spiking back with energy, as we could see using his ERS once again. Three laps left. They all get DRS, it seems, on each other, so there's not going to be a big improvement between them both in the gap decrease, but it does seem to break a lot later there between them all. And now it's all about the exit. It does seem they both get a better exit than Bids, and now he just stays in the lead of this battle. But now Brandt still having the lead of the race. Now, I'll be honest, I might start waffling now, and some stuff I might say might just not make sense, because I feel extremely fatigued. So we have seen quite a few DNFs now. I don't remember when Josh Rose or Tyrant King both retired from the race there. I'm not sure when that happened, I'll be honest, because we didn't get any sort of safety car for it, so I assume it wasn't anything to do with the car, so I assume it might have been either a driver or a hardware related failure. If someone can patch me in with that, that would be good, because I'm quite confused on what happened there. Going back into the other McLaren now, currently in P10, still in points, getting the slipstream now on the Haas to try get now P9. Jay Hartnell, a driver we haven't seen a lot during this race at all. Losing a lot of time there going into the final few corners of Sector 1. Quite a big gap between them both, the slipstream and DRS. It's not going to help them out too much going into this. However, we do see this battle for the lead is starting to get again quite ravenous. It does seem that he has harvested quite a bit of his DRS back, and this is where he's going to start using it. All of his overtaking. This is where we could see this battle for the lead becoming quite aggressive between them both, as we go to see Rand still has 60% of his ERS left as well, but it does seem now the advantage in ERS is in Crossfire's favour. So over the next 2 laps we have left of this race, 1 lap actually now, we could definitely see these two drivers battling at it, and we'll start seeing them both using their DRS in the overtake position instead of harvesting it for as much as they have been doing. Now going into the end parts of Sector 1 now, gets a bit of oversteer there. Crossfire just starting to lose a tiny bit of time there. It does seem his tyres are starting to get a bit more worn, but it does seem Brent is also having that issue as well. It's going to have the slipstream and the DRS once again, but it's not going to pull him too close here. He is going to get quite close, but it's not going to be quite close enough to try think of going for a side by side. Needs a lot of time there going into turn 9, and now we're going through the sweeping corners, very long corners, these kind of hairpin like corners very close to him. It's not going to be close enough yet, but we'll definitely see the DRS being activated again. This might help him out going into this final lap now of the race. These two cars being at it. We do start seeing the slipstream being deployed here for the final lap of this race to see who gets crowned the winner of the first race of the season. He's going to be all over the back of him here going into turn 1 now. We do see also Dibs as well trying to get involved with this as well. So there's going to be a four-way battle for the lead. Anything can happen as we do see him getting closer. It's not going to be close enough between them both. All over the back of him now. That AlphaTauri having a lot of pressure, trying to just keep it off now, as we do see all of them about 40% wear on their tyres. The front ones being used a lot more than the back ones. It's now the slipstream's going to help him out quite a bit here going into it. It's going to go side by side, getting the move done, going into the first corner. So going to be any sort of retaliation. We'll have the slipstream on to start finish straight. Obviously, Bran could try drag race this for the win of the race, but there has been a position change for the lead here. Crossfire now back in the lead of this race as he's gained quite a bit of time here between them both. They still go side by side here going into the first corner. So going to be a contact between them both, as we just saw the wing between them both. Brand getting a 3-second time penalty, which is going to help. As I completely forget about the penalties, we'll have to see provisionally where they both end up at the end of this lap. As we go into the penultimate corner now, he is gaining quite a bit of time here. We do see a 5 tenths gap between them both, and this is going to be our positions of today's race for round 1 at Paul Ricard. Crossfire taking the line provisionally, but we'll have to see with penalties where he ends up as we start seeing everyone crossing the line now. Definitely seeing some interesting strategies in this race, and something I can observe, hopefully learn to try and make my F1 commentary skills a lot more better. So obviously for a few of you who are new to the chat, this is my debut race in F1. I'm originally an ACC broadcaster and commentator, so this is something I am not used to, as we do see Crossfire taking the win of this race there, followed by Nick F1 and then Finn. Brand losing a lot of time because of all of the incidents of track warnings that he did have, then followed by FRL admin of Kevin as well in P4, followed then by bids of the Aston Martin, and that's going to be our top 5 there. This has been round 1 of the 100% season here, as we do see driver of the day, the Don Fotherington, who had a very mixed up and down race here. Good to see him being introduced with this as well. And that's why I'm going to say it's going to be the end of this stream, ladies and gentlemen, as it's definitely been what I could say very, very good race here from everyone. I would show you the podium, but it's getting very, very late here, and I've got other stuff to do as well. Actually, I will just quickly show you the podium, just for people's showing that they did get it. Obviously, that is McLaren's who goes with it. Crossfire obviously getting pole position, followed by Nick F1 and then the Alfa Romeo there. So definitely been a good round 1, and I have been your commentator for the night. I have been Aces, also known as Alex. I am the new 100% F1 commentator here, as there is quite a few penalties there as well, but I will be saying goodnight to all of you, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Obviously there is Super Sprint Sunday tomorrow in F1 terms, and other ACC races as well going on tomorrow. So I will catch you guys later, and have a great rest of your night. I'll see you next weekend or on Thursday as well, where I'll be doing the Pro-Am Series for FRL, or then I'll see you on Saturday for the next race. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye.
say I